If alcohol were invented today, it is very unlikely that it would be sitting quietly on supermarket shelves next to orange juice and milk. Imagine a new liquid that changes how your brain works in minutes, that raises your risk of several cancers, that damages many organs in your body, and that can make you dependent so that you feel sick without it. Most people would probably call that a dangerous drug. Yet, because alcohol has been with us for centuries, we call it a drink. We raise a glass at weddings, and we use it to relax after work. Tonight, before you pour your next drink, I want to show you what modern science actually says about alcohol. By the end of this video, you may never again be able to look at a glass of wine, a beer, or a cocktail in quite the same way. For years, many of us heard the same comforting story. A little red wine is good for your heart. Maybe you saw television reports about people in some European countries who ate rich food, drank wine every day, and supposedly had fewer heart attacks. That message felt so good that we wanted it to be true. It turned a habit that might have worried us into something that sounded almost like medicine. After a long day, you could say, "I am not just drinking, I am taking care of my heart." The problem is that this beautiful story was built on very shaky science. Here is where the plot twist begins. When researchers went back and cleaned up the data behind those early studies, they looked much more carefully at the group called non-drinkers. It turned out that many people in that group were not healthy people who had never drunk alcohol. They were former heavy drinkers, people who had quit because of health problems, or people who were already sick. Of course that group looked less healthy than people who drank a little. When scientists separated true lifelong non-drinkers from people who had quit, the magic protection from small amounts of alcohol almost disappeared. Instead, the pattern became very simple and very uncomfortable. The more a person drinks on average, the higher the risk of many diseases. Let us talk about cancer in clear, simple language. When you drink alcohol, your body breaks it down into a toxic chemical that can damage your cells. This chemical can injure the genetic material inside those cells and can make it harder for your body to repair mistakes. Over time, those tiny injuries can add up. That is one reason alcohol is now recognized as a substance that can cause cancer in human beings. It is strongly linked with cancers of the mouth, throat, food pipe, liver, bowel, and breast. For women, even a few drinks a week can slowly increase the risk of breast cancer over a lifetime. There is no special type of alcohol that is safe. Beer, wine, and spirits all contain the same active ingredient that does the damage. Alcohol also changes the brain in ways that most people never see until years have gone by. Under a scanner, brains of regular drinkers often look slightly smaller, with losses of brain tissue in areas that control memory, planning, and balance. You may notice this as brain fog, more clumsy moments, slower thinking, and a shorter temper when you're stressed. Some studies suggest that once you pass a few drinks per week, each extra daily drink is linked with brain changes similar to an extra year of aging. That means a habit that feels normal may quietly be making your brain older than your birth certificate says. Alcohol also disrupts normal sleep, so you may fall asleep faster, but wake up more often, feel tired, and crave more sugar and caffeine the next day. At this point, you might be thinking, what about all the good things people talk about in wine? The antioxidants and that famous substance resveratrol. It is true that grapes and some other plants contain helpful compounds. However, the amount of these substances in a glass of wine is tiny. To get the levels that showed benefits in some laboratory experiments, a human being would have to drink a very large amount of wine, far beyond any sensible level, and the harm from the alcohol itself would be enormous. The good news is that you can get those same helpful plant chemicals in a much safer way. You can eat whole grapes, berries, and other colorful fruits, enjoy grape juice, or drink alcohol-free versions of your favorite drinks. So when experts say there is no safe level of alcohol, what do they really mean? They do not mean that one drink will instantly cause cancer or destroy your liver. They mean that every dose of alcohol has a cost. Even small amounts increase risk a little, and there is no level that makes your risk go down compared with never drinking at all. Think of it like tiny scratches on your body systems. One scratch may heal, but if you keep adding more scratches day after day, something eventually breaks. For some people, that break may show up as high blood pressure, for others as liver disease, for others as cancer or dementia, and for some as addiction. This is not about shame or fear. It's about getting honest information so that you can make conscious choices. You may decide that certain drinks on special occasions are worth the risk for you. You may also realize that the habit of drinking every evening out of boredom, stress, or loneliness feels less appealing when you understand the bill that your body is paying in the background. More and more people are choosing to experiment with alcohol-free months, alcohol-free weekdays, or alcohol-free versions of their favorite drinks. Many report clearer skin, better sleep, lighter mood, and more stable weight in just a few weeks. Here is the hopeful part. Your body is not a fixed machine. It's living tissue that can repair, rebuild, and recover. When you cut back on alcohol, your liver can begin to heal, your blood pressure can improve, your sleep can deepen, and your brain can regain some of its sharpness. You can't change how much you drank in the past, but you have real power over the next drink, and the next week, and the next year. Imagine yourself 1 year from today with clearer eyes, a calmer mind, and a body that is not fighting against a silent chemical every evening. If this video challenged something you always believed about alcohol, I invite you to sit with that feeling instead of pushing it away. Ask yourself, honestly, what do I really want alcohol to do for me? And is it actually doing that job? If you feel safe to share, tell me in the comments one belief about alcohol that you grew up with and how it has changed after hearing this information. Your story might be the one that helps another person step back from the edge. And if you want more science-based, gentle but honest conversations about health, you can subscribe and stay with me on this journey. Your future brain, your future heart, and your future self are quietly hoping that you will.